the second end though of that, by the way, of my segment is that this what
I
happened
might
to
have to
Iron
split
Man.
this episode up.
No, I mean it's really short. I'm gonna just cover it really quick. But what happened to Iron Man has happened to almost every mainline
Oh,
Marvel
he's so
hero.
upset right now with
Yeah,
all of it
yeah. To
because
about
almost all of them aren't where they were before they started doing all this.
well, and the torch has been passed, and it's been passed in the most inconsiderate and just nonsensical of ways in some cases.
Thor is one of the biggest examples.
So, but we're gonna get there. So the reason why I feel that Tony Stark is a perfect example of what is happening in comics, why it is bad, and how it's killing the industry is because all of this story that is built up to be the culmination of Tony's life in recent comic books, basically about 2 years of reading Iron Man, paying for and reading Iron Man. What I've gotten out of it is that my favorite hero is adopted. Is
His legacy doesn't matter.
yeah, all of his history. He technically is only the inheritor to Stark Industries because his brother couldn't take it
Yep.
because he was at the point, completely paraplegic. Um, we so there's that. His best friend is dead. He's dead. He was killed by Captain Marvel, and no one has confronted her about it, nor has it ever been discussed.
She's never been punished for it.
Yeah, it's completely rolled over. He has all of his alcohol problems again from that one trip to the AI land. So he has to go back and try to regain his sobriety.
By the way, that's why I don't own a VR.
Right? So there's that. Like he has to found a new relationship with his actual mother because his actual living parents who are back are living with his brother and haven't had any.
Is it really them though?
I mean, it is a hard copy of themselves.
Right.
They're as real as he is in the continuity of Iron
What's
Man
going
currently.
on? Yeah.
Right. So there's all of that. Stark, the building, Stark Industries, now Stark Brazilian or whatever it's called, is completely tanking because there's tons of lawsuits from the Escape scenario, as well as all the damage that the Robot Rebellion's causing. Just everything that I cared about in Tony Stark's life, including like Pepper Potts, she still isn't back.
She's been gone for a while.
And Janet Van Dyne, who he's currently in a relationship with, just kind of left because her crazy husband / great Avengers villain has come and ruined that. so like
she had to go away for a little bit.
Right. And the highlights of my comic are Tony Stark's better than him brother and freaking Sunset Bane, who no offense is just a total bitch.
Like, she has a cool name though.
Yeah, but so here's the thing about her, right?
Don't know anything about her.
One of the characters that helps save Iron Man when he gets turned into a monster by Ultron's device is a intelligent cat, right? That has a collar that allows it to interface with people. And it's actually
so it's like that cat from Captain Marvel, the movie,
right? Except it's not a giant monster.
Yeah.
It's it's just a hyper intelligent cat that's actually a doctor, right? Okay, so we
makes sense in the Marvel universe.
But yeah, we run through the entire arc of Iron Man, and then when we get to Iron Man 2020, Sunset Bane walks up to the cat, which is responsible for helping save Tony Stark's life, by the way, and takes the cat's collar off and says to everyone in Stark Industries, "You're idiots. That cat was never intelligent. It's just a normal cat. What's happened is that this collar is an AI that has tricked you all into believing it's a hyper intelligent cat. This is what you've been talking to, a standard house cat."
That's dumb.
Regardless of the implications of that, because it goes again, once again to this whole thing about AI and what's going on in the greater series. Sunset Bane is just a total, like
why do that?
Why do that? Like literally, she's just like it's almost like suddenly depowering a hero. That cat had a role that was relatively important, and now it's been
cat.
Now it's been relegated
in the streets right now.
Relegated down to a collar.
Yep.
It just. Can
I get one of those collars for my cats?
I know, right? But once again, it's not the cat itself. It's the collar.
Sometimes I'd be concerned if I had the collar on my cats.
Just all of what this implies, all of what this has done, has just burnt away everything that made Tony Stark who Tony Stark is, and what's left just sucks. And I hate it. And so the same thing has occurred across all of it. So I may be sure you haven't caught comics in the last 4 years since all new, all different Marvel. But I'm gonna give you a quick rundown
They
of
did
how
they did a good job of bringing Spider-Man back for a short amount of time.
right. But I'm gonna give you a quick rundown about how every character has been changed. So we're gonna start from the top. We're gonna go through the Avengers. Bruce Banner had his powers forcibly stolen from him by Amadeus Cho. Amadeus Cho is running around as the newest Hulk. His
He's
name is Brawn.
Yeah, but he's the Hulk again too.
Well, we're gonna get to that. He becomes Immortal Hulk, but
Yeah.
this is recent.
Yeah.
So we're getting back to what's happened to Hulk over the course of this just 4 year period.
Yeah.
That Hulk then, after losing his powers, Bruce Banner goes and tries to experiment with gamma radiation and get them back because he can't exist without the Hulk. He basically just becomes a whimpering mass of uselessness. So
Because he's been with the Hulk for so long.
but
Right.
the experimentation is unstable, and he's worried that the Hulk that he's going to become from trying to bring the Hulk back is too much of a danger. So he gives Hawkeye a special arrow specifically to kill him if that happens. Well, it happens, and Hawkeye kills the Hulk. So Bruce Banner dies, Amadeus Cho takes his position. That's what happens to the Hulk. We're going to keep going through the rest of the Avengers. Thor, during Secret Wars, gets told a secret that is so grievous that he drops his hammer and can't pick it back up. Instead, Jane Foster, who is currently in Asgard receiving treatment for cancer, picks up the hammer and becomes Thor. Because whoever holds this hammer is named Thor. She's not Lady Thor. She's not Thoris. She's not Earth X Thor.
Right.
She is just Thor. Odin's son is now what Thor is called, and he has to go and deal with the fact that he can't pick up his own hammer.
He gets an axe.
Yeah. But regardless, Thor is completely derelegated from his position, and she takes his place. And the problem with her character is that she, every time she picks up that hammer, removes all of the enchantment and chemotherapy that the Asgardians has been doing to treat her cancer. So using
She's
it,
dying.
yeah, using it, taking Thor's role is killing her.
Oh wow.
So
Some people actually really like that comic line though.
yeah, plenty of people do because it's female empowerment. But if you actually read it, that's all that it is. She just literally fights people. And
Well, it's, not necessarily just her storyline, but Thor's storyline too. Him
Well,
building his self back up.
Thor getting back to the point where he can hold the hammer is great.
Yeah.
But in order to get him there, they had to run him into the ground first and then pass his character off.
For like over a year.
Yeah, to Lady Thor or just Jane Foster. But anywho, so that's what happens to
The
Thor.
mighty Thor.
We're gonna keep going down through the rest of the Avengers. Hawkeye, after having killed Bruce, gets absolutely like ramblasted by the rest of the world because he killed one of his own allies. Has to go
he was
off
told
and
to.
yeah, has to, regardless of that, has to go off and live in, and it's the Hulk, by the way, has to go off and live in obscurity. So his role gets relegated to the young Avenger, Kate Bishop. She just takes his name, becomes Hawkeye. Hawkeye comes back after having things cool down, and now there's just Hawkeye and Hawkeye. They are both called Hawkeye at the same time. They are both Hawkeye. They're actually on a team together in their own comic called Hawkeye.
Hey Hawkeye, come in. Which one?
Exactly. So that's what's happened with Hawkeye. Falcon stopped being Falcon. Falcon became Captain America.
Well, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
that
you-
one's been going on for a while.
But do you know the reason why Falcon became Captain America? Because Captain America became a Nazi.
Well, that was because of that cube that
No,
changed reality.
Nope. There's no retcon here. See what happens is they retcon this event.
Oh yeah.
Secret
Hell Hydra.
Empire. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that the Hydra cap called Hydra Supreme is retconned into being a cap from an alternate universe that has been indoctrinated by Hydra. But what actually occurred is that with the cosmic cube, they went back in time and brainwashed Captain America. Until that retcon, that was our Captain America that was a Nazi.
Wow.
Yep. And then they finally retconned it, and he's himself.
Right. So anyway, Falcon becomes Captain America. So Falcon, a hero with his own legacy, a great story in and of himself, something truly inspiring, just becomes.
He's been it's been longer than 4 years though for him to be Captain.
Yeah, it's been a while.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, just
Yeah,
the
I
last.
get what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in this last bit of time frame. But anyway, he's become Captain America. Captain America retired, is now back, but regardless,
He always comes back.
yeah. Because he gets depowered, but he's back now,
Back, yeah, he's-
young, doing his job.
He
Go-
actually was when he was old. He was actually had Deadpool hired as part of his Avengers team because Deadpool was actually becoming like a legit hero for a while.
Yeah.
Huh. That's funny.
T'Challa, Black Panther. Well, now Wakanda is going intergalactic. So T'Challa goes off into space, right? On a rocket ship, his sister, Shuri, designs. Well, the rocket malfunctions, abandoning him in space. Shuri takes the position of Black Panther.
Oh.
And honestly, while I'm reading it, the only thing I can think of is, do you intentionally usurp your brother by sending him out into space to die?
Makes you wonder.
Right? But regardless, she becomes Black Panther. What else are we going? Iron Man gets killed by Captain Marvel.
Right.
A character named Riri Williams is a student in MIT.
Ironheart.
Steals Iron Man's technology and makes her own suit, and then just proceeds to fly it off of the campus. Well, the suit crashes, and she gets contacted by an AI, which this has happened multiple times during the story arc, of Tony Stark, that's offering her the position of taking Iron Man's place. This is before Arnold takes it himself.
Yeah.
Right. So Ironheart replaces Iron Man. Iron Man is dead. Let's continue on. What are the other main Avengers? Because all of them get hit.
Captain Marvel.
Well, Captain Marvel's been replaced by Captain Marvel for a long time, but Miss Marvel is now Captain Marvel, right? And the title of Miss Marvel, which belongs to Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel was given the title due to her relationship with the old Captain Marvel.
Right.
Where they're sharing Kree genetics, and that's the thing that's making them the Marvels, is literally basically them being Kree.
Correct.
Right? She passes the title randomly through a conversation, no great passing of the torch, to an Inhuman who's powered by the Terrigen Mist.
I still like her character.
Yeah, a different race with a different power set. And she gets the title of Miss Marvel just because Captain Marvel hands it off to her.
Because she's a big fangirl of Captain Marvel.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
that's it.
But I still like her character a lot. I know he doesn't, but she's actually one of the few of the new age ones.
I'm not saying there's anything greatly wrong with Kamala Khan.
He just wished that she would have her own superhero name.
Rather than being Miss Marvel, because there's no reason for her to inherit that title besides, oh, I'm your biggest fan. Here, you can have my superhero name. Right. So more importantly than that, though, while Miss Marvel was working under Captain Marvel during Civil War II, she basically just becomes a jackboot and starts imprisoning people without regards to their rights.
Captain Marvel.
Well, not Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel
Miss
working
Marvel?
for Captain Marvel. Literally goes around and starts imprisoning people.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they're all like Gestapo. There's that.
I'm your biggest fan. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, right. So there's that. We continue to go down the list across all these other heroes. Wolverine dies.
He's dead for a while.
Wolverine gets encased
He's
in
back
liquid.
now.
Yeah, regardless, Wolverine gets encased in liquid adamantium, suffocates to death.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only reasonable way of killing him. And he dies really heroically. He dies saving people. Nothing wrong with how Wolverine dies. Let me tell you how we get the next Wolverine. You know, X-23, the clone of Wolverine, is the logical inheritor of the title Wolverine.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. But she doesn't just receive it just because Wolverine dies. No, the entire Wolverine family, Daken,
Son.
Sabretooth, X-23, and then Mystique. No reason, but Mystique is included in this. All four of them literally fight for the title of X-23. For the title of Wolverine. X-23 wins, and that's how she becomes Wolverine.
Why Mystique? I don't get that.
But they all get together and they literally
Like
fight
at
to
the
take his
very
title.
least, it makes sense for Sabretooth and Wolverine's
Son to try to fight over it. Oh, there's
Yeah.
also, I think, James Howlett, which is Wolverine's son from another universe. But
Yeah.
regardless, anybody who's directly related to Wolverine,
No one
plus
wants no
Mystique.
one wants Wolverine's son to be Wolverine because that guy's crazy.
yeah, but Daken, but plus
Yeah.
Mystique, all of them get together and fight for it. X-23 takes it, so she becomes Wolverine. Okay, and then Wolverine, X-23 now, finds a clone of herself. So a clone of a clone. That clone is given the title Honey Badger, but that clone is the new X-23.
Honey Badger don't give none.
No, give no. Yeah.
But yeah, so a clone of a
I'm
clone.
guessing that's why her name is her name.
Yeah, and she also has a honey badger called Jonathan.
I was just thinking, have you ever seen the movie Multiplicity?
Yeah,
And you start cloning clones.
Yeah, she's a clone of a clone.
Did you bring me a chainsaw?
Yeah, did her intelligence drop?
No,
She
no.
touched my peppy Steve.
she just has a weaker power set than X-23 herself.
That's-
X-23 is actually stronger than Wolverine. but that's a different thing.
Yeah, but she's not Wolverine.
Yeah, she's not Wolverine. But regardless, that's what happens with Wolverine. All of the original X-Men,
Also,
the original
Old Man Logan was around during all that too.
Yeah, Old Man Logan's also running around, but that's another thing. That's not a replacement though.
No,
He's literally called Old Man Logan. He's not called Wolverine.
Yeah, no one recognizes him as Wolverine.
Right. So the
'Cause he
original
never wears the suit
the original 5 X-Men get pulled from the past to the future
to
and
fix the mistakes of their present day.
So they all
selves.
replace themselves, and then they become changed because of it. So you have Jean Grey, Angel, Iceman, Beast, and
Cyclops.
Cyclops
is the biggest one because
Cyclops is evil in current continuity. Everything's like the last 10 years.
He killed Charles.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they all come back, and they all have to deal with the fact that they get to look at all their future selves, and their future selves are all horrible.
Yeah, especially Cyclops. So he's like the one that's the most devastated.
With the exception of Iceman. Iceman is relatively normal.
Yeah.
But this is what happens.
Well, they give him a hook.
Well, no, you're about to hear it. Young Jean Grey, without the guidance of Charles, decides to start using her power a little bit more freely to directly look into people's minds. And so she looks into Iceman's mind, and she says, Bobby, I think you're gay. And from that moment on, Bobby is gay.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know if she looked into the depths of his mind and found just a little bit of homosexuality in Iceman's soul, but it seems as if she went into his mind and turned him gay because he goes. Let me tell you how powerful this is. The young Bobby starts dating an Inhuman. That's fine. The old Bobby becomes a flaming show-off. Like
total personality change.
And this is the guy that used to try to hook up with Rogue, that had all of these girlfriends, right? He's completely.
I'm just gonna put you on ice.
He's completely gay. To the point where he even has to go and have a special sub arc where he goes and tells his parents he's gay. That's what we're dealing with in the X-Men comics. I can go on. I can literally keep going. Hundreds of heroes have been receiving this treatment.
Yeah. Beast is the one, by the way, that brought them all back.
Right, to try to fix their future selves. But young Beast looks at old Beast and says, you're a lunatic. You're screwing with the time frame for your own selfish needs, and berates old Beast. And young Beast falls in love with Jean Grey. Young Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Young Cyclops sees old Cyclops and is so terrified of what he becomes that he basically shuts down as a character.
Yeah. But old Cyclops eventually over time actually becomes good again.
Yes, because they fix that, because they retcon everything. Yeah. And then you get over to...
Well, they should have retconned that. That was a dumb plot line.
Yeah, then you get over to young Jean Grey, and she, of course, goes and becomes a mutant revolutionary with the ability to mind control people.
And there's a...
I don't see any problems with that. What are you talking about?
There's a whole other current arc by John Hickman, which is a very famous Marvel writer.
Which is a reboot. So all of this continuity has been rewritten.
Yeah, all this has been rewritten now, and Professor X is back, and it's a whole other thing that
we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
That's going to try its own special.
And in fact, from what I've read, I actually like what they're doing with this.
Yeah, Hickman's run is good. Hickman's run is good. What's come after Hickman's run is really meh. But regardless, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can keep going down this list. Wasp, Janet Van Dyne gets replaced by Nadia Van Dyne.
They add way too many people into the Spider family.
Yeah, we're gonna get Spider-Man. There's no reason to even get with Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been completely just shotgunned because of Dan Slott throughout this time frame. But anywho,
that's true.
We have Nadia Van Dyne, who is not Janet Van Dyne's daughter. It's Hank Pym's daughter, who's called Van Dyne because she gets adopted by Janet, but she is a Red Room born child. So she gets born from, I don't know who her mother is. I can't actually remember, but she gets kidnapped as a kid, taken to the Red Room where Black Widow is trained, and is raised by the Red Room, and then later becomes freed and takes over the position of Wasp. But I want to let you know that Hank Pym had a daughter, knew she existed, know that she got kidnapped by a bunch of psychopaths
and did nothing about it.
That train assassins, and also most likely sterilized his daughter, because that's what they did to Black Widow. Yeah, right? And did nothing about it. And people are like, why do you hate Hank Pym?
This is why he hates Hank Pym.
Because every time someone writes him, he becomes an even worse person.
I like Hank Pym in like when he's in
Young Avengers.
yeah.
When he's leading the West Coast Avengers
Well,
or
that
initiative or something like that.
and not even in the comic books. They always do a really good job on like the animated series and stuff of not making him out to be that type of character.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely better versions of him, but
Like
just
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. If you never watched Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, it's on Disney Plus. Watch it. It's the best Avengers animated show ever.
yeah.
Hands
So
down.
It was on Netflix for a while. I
It
think.
was, yeah. And that's when I watched all of it.
Yeah.
But now, anything Disney related
Yeah.
is pretty much on there now.
So Black Widow gets killed by Hydra Cap, gets replaced by Red Widow. Oh, sorry. Well, another Black Widow that is now Red Widow, regardless. So she just gets murdered, by the way. Cap brings down the shield on the back of her neck and just,
Takes him out.
yep, like literally snaps her spine.
Bitch, you ain't got no superpowers.
Yeah. So,
Captain Falcon, Captain America, or Captain America, Captain America.
Hydra America.
Okay.
Hydra America kills her.
All right.
But
That's how we gotta.
He did a hydraulic press on that neck.
yeah, with the shields and just ganks her. So
You hadn't gotten
there's
the Hulk yet.
yeah. But by the way, another thing that we have to. Oh, we did get Hulk. Hulk
Yeah,
was-
but after he died.
yeah. Well, he comes back as a monster called Immortal Hulk. He's basically like Frankenstein. But
So you find out Hulk can't actually die.
yeah, all the Hulks are immortal. Anybody who's been contaminated by gamma radiation never died. They will hard come back. Period.
Yep.
Which also means that Thunderbolt Ross, and Betty Ross, who have both been dead for a very long time,
Should be
should
back.
also be coming back. But
Yeah.
we're waiting on that.
I would love Red Hulk. to be
Probably
back.
what Immortal Hulk started off really good, and it's become relatively bad. But regardless, we're gonna
They're
leave that
giving
there.
him like Galactus level powers essentially right now.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much.
Hulk hungry, Hulk eat world.
But so I can keep going. White Tiger, which no one really remembers.
I
but
remember
he's-
her.
Well,
her.
it's a him. White
Oh.
Tiger's a guy. What happens is that White Tiger gets accused of a crime he didn't commit, and because of it, has to give up his position as a superhero. His daughter takes his
Okay,
3 totems.
That's the one I know.
Yeah, his daughter takes his 3 totems and runs off and becomes a superhero without his permission. And then his sister takes the totems from her, and she's the current White Tiger. And how does this title get passed along? Just steal from the hero.
They're going to be doing all of this stuff to DC here soon. DC's doing this new initiative that's called DC 5G, which is kind of ironic because they're doing the cellular 5G stuff right now. But it stands for 5th generation.
All right.
So they're actually setting a hardline timeline for DC and all of its major events. And so they are going to say this is the 5th generation. And they're going to be new people taking up the mantles of Superman, Batman,
So
Wonder
they're not
Woman.
like wiping the universe and starting over again.
They're just doing
No.
they're just doing Succession.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're not gonna get like New 52 and all that crap.
No.
No new 52, no rebirth.
This should be a kind of continuation of Rebirth. But going back,
Sorry,
yeah.
just explain that DC's going down that route too.
Okay.
Yeah, so
sorry.
while 2010 to 2020 was Marvel turn to just kill everything, DC's about to hit their stride.
Yep.
So just
It's
prepare
DC's
for that.
turn, and
Get your murder guns out.
So yeah, so that's completely just been canned, but I can just infinitely keep going because they've done this to almost every hero you can think of. Like if you name a hero, it's gotten this treatment in the last 10 years, and it's completely destroyed their legacies, passed on their titles in horrific ways that none of them would ever approve of. For instance, Nova, right? You know, the original adult Nova,
All right.
right? He goes off, and I don't actually remember what happens to him. I think he either gets lost in space or killed, and his kid finds his helmet.
Yeah, but Sam's been Nova for a good hot minute.
But I'm saying over the last, once again, 10 years.
Yeah,
We look at a full 10-year period. He's at the earlier part of this.
yeah.
But so is X-23 becoming Wolverine. It's also at the earlier part of this.
No.
X-23, all new, all different Marvels, 2014. That's when she first came in.
Yeah, but
And that's all new Wolverine. That's literally
it's been
2014.
that long.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I know you think
Man.
time doesn't really go that far, but that's at the earlier part of this shit.
Man.
Catastrophe. I'm dying here. I can't even begin to start speaking. My point being is
I think we're losing him, Jim.
Yeah.
all of these things have occurred sequentially, back to back, across every character you could ever possibly like,
And ruined them.
and
They screwed with
successfully-
his Venom too.
Oh yeah, same thing happens with Venom.
They tried to flesh out the backstory to the symbiotes more and more,
Right.
and so they just went a bit too far.
They make a symbiote god. We get to figure out all the stuff that happens on Clintar, the symbiote home planet. We also have a confrontation between Flash Thompson, who wants to be Venom because he doesn't have legs without Venom,
Yeah.
and Eddie Brock, who's the original Venom,
Is Venom again.
yeah, who is Venom again, and is the rightful person that Venom wants to be with. They retcon Venom's character. I mean the symbiote itself. When I refer to Venom, not
Yeah.
to Brock.
Right.
And they turned Peter Parker into an absolute a-hole in regards to the symbiote because Peter Parker, despite anything good he's managed to do over all this time in comics,
He's always a jerk to the symbiote.
and they ramped that up to like the 11th degree. He's honestly just racist. Like he hates symbiotes for no reason. Venom has actually not done anything to him that isn't them directly in conflict with each other. Remember that he took off the suit because Reed Richards told him that it was feeding off of him.
Oh yeah.
You're right.
It was his personality that was
Right, that's everything that it made him do. Just amplified what Peter already
He
had
always
going.
gets upset about this topic.
Right, because it's unfair to the symbiote. It didn't do anything. Right now, sure, okay, you don't want a parasite living on you. I 100% respect that. But the fact that you soon discovered that it's intelligent and can communicate, and Peter never once decided to just talk to it.
Right.
Yeah. He just looked at it like it's just a monster. That's it. Let's get rid of it.
Right, and so you end up with Venom, who hates Parker and ends up doing all these things in direct opposition to Parker.
And he wonders
specifically-
why.
Specifically because Parker won't ever just talk to the alien.
Yeah, he's never once like actually had a sit down conversation with
Right.
him.
And it can talk. It literally can speak. Even not on another person, it can talk. You saw that with the movie.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
instance. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Peter, at any point, there's a point where it's free of Eddie because Eddie gets replaced by a guy named Lee Price.
Right.
Becomes the new Venom, and
really?
it's yeah. That's the all different Marvel for Venom. He gets replaced by Lee Price. Lee Price is a total freaking villain, by the way, and starts using the symbiote, who wants to be a hero because of Flash Thompson's influence, to commit crimes. Turns him back to a
Yeah,
villain.
he was Agent Venom for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they get it off of Lee Price, the way that they get the symbiote to leave Lee Price is that Spider-Man walks up to the symbiote and says, "Come back to me. We can work together again. You can be a hero." Okay? And the Venom symbiote thinks and is just like, with Spider-Man, we can be the greatest hero of all. And he's trying his best. He's picturing a future where the two of them work together, and this is the symbiote, by the way, this alien creature,
Right.
and become really great heroes because that's what it wants to be.
Oh my god, I would love an image of like Spider-Man and it like running through a field together, holding hands, like
Right.
you and me and you.
Yeah, because Lee Price.
That's not what happens.
Lee-
Oh, it should have
yeah.
been though.
No, but Lee Price is overriding the symbiote's will. Being with
Yeah.
Flash Thompson has made it incredibly less aggressive, so it's easier for it to be dominated by somebody who has a really strong will. That's what Lee Price has been doing. So Spider-Man gives it the strength to leave Lee, and it leaps off of Lee towards Spider-Man with this ideal in mind that this is what's
Because
going
he's
to be
always
the
thought
result.
of a lot of Peter,
Right, 'cause-
regardless of how he's treated him.
Because Peter is his first influence, his first person he got to stick with a long time. Because he was only on Deadpool for like
A minute.
three
Probably like-
panels.
yeah.
Yeah, like 3 panels of actual comic.
Forget this, I'm out of here.
Right. So rather than letting the symbiote bond with him again, Spider-Man captures it in a jar and turns it over. It betrays him. Literally, he betrays the. I blew
It
my.
upsets him so much.
Oh, I'm
I
sure
blame
it does.
I blame Dan Slott.
So there's that.
Even if he might not have been the one that wrote that, I still blame him.
Yeah, so they do it to villains too. So that was Venom. One of the Iron Man villains. You remember Obadiah Stane? He's the villain from the first Iron Man movie.
Sure.
Well, his son comes and takes his place. Ezekiel Stane, little shit Stane. He is in no way anywhere near as villainous, intimidating,
wow.
or competent as his father. I mean, I can keep going for all of eternity, but I'm going to wrap it up here. The consequences of all of these actions that Marvel has taken to push whatever they're pushing, whatever ideal or whatever's infected Marvel, has killed the comic book industry. It's at an all-time low.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of talk behind the scenes about how Marvel's just Disney's thinking about just cutting out like comic
Comics,
books.
period.
Yeah.
Wow.
So one of America's oldest mediums, predating World War II, a historical part of our culture, is just about to die because it's been inundated to the nth degree.
And it's not because people are getting tired of comic books, it's because they're getting tired of how people are creating these comic books. Because you got other studios that are indie
Indie comics by
comics
themselves
that are booming for them.
Yeah. You have
Speaking
like
of Boom, you got Boom Studios, who is growing so fast because they had the Power Rangers line that was extremely popular.
Image Comics, Dark
Image Comics,
Horse.
yeah,
All of those indie brands who
are
haven't
doing
been
fine.
infected by this nonsense are doing great. There are Kickstarters and GoFundMe's where you can literally
But it's the big two.
right, yeah. And so they take up the majority of the market. But both of them are just dying. Period. And just like with Doctor Who in the earlier segment, if this continues on with this level of decrease, the industry will just collapse and it will become a novelty.
Yep.
Well, just a movie powerhouse at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That.
Well, maybe not DC.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting there actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Occasionally you get a good one.
Yeah,
Ish.
they made
we
a
can hope.
lot of money off that Aquaman. I know
Yeah.
that.
I think the thing that's going to decide whether
Man,
or
that's
not-
just the man that was in the suit.
yeah, Jason Momoa carried it.
yeah, he
Yeah.
really did.
But I think the thing that's going to determine if DC really has a path forward is how good Wonder Woman 2 is going to be.
I think Batman will be the real.
Do you think the Robin Patterson Batman's going to really be the thing that carries it? I think that
I think it will set.
Oh, we switching Batmans again from Ben Affleck
Yeah, you
to
didn't know
somebody
that?
else?
Yeah,
I
Robin-
didn't realize
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
well, you listen to our podcast. We talk about it quite a bit. But this has been the Depths of Disorder. I've been your host, Dane. Thank you for listening to me rant because this is basically what my segment is. These have been my co-hosts, Tim, and our extra special guest who's stuck through it this entire time. We really appreciate him for coming out, and
Thank
we
you so much.
hope to see him again from Myriad Gamers, Myriad Mike.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.